Dodger beat writer, joins us right now. She is from The Athletic. Katie Woo is here. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Gentlemen, it's been a Friday. How are we?
The main thing that happened is that Shohei Ohtani's been pulled out of the All-Star game. He's been pulled from his pitching spot tonight. He is going to hit this weekend. Katie, what do you know about the severity of the injury to Ohtani?
Yeah, it's certainly surprising. We'd talked all week to Dave Roberts about what Ohtani was feeling, and it was actually more centered on that right bicep soreness that caused him to be pinch hit for on July 3rd against the Padres, missed a game, but seemed like everything was trending in the right direction for him to make his final start. But the knee has been somewhat of an issue for the last month or so. Ever since he suffered that against the Pirates, I believe it was June 10th. He did not play against the White Sox the next day. We've seen him take extra care to make sure that knee was at least well enough or strong enough so that he could continue making his starts. I think when you're looking at the calendar, as much as Ohtani wanted to play in the All-Star game, obviously, and he never wants to miss a start, he'll never have a week to just rest in the regular season, and it's probably the smartest thing for the long-term outlook of Ohtani's health and for the Dodgers to skip this start. We saw this tweet from Fabian Ardaya where Ohtani will have that left knee drained, likely will get an injection through the All-Star break. Not sure what that means for his availability coming out in the second half, but it does allow him some rest and recovery so that this doesn't continue to be an issue down the stretch when the Dodgers really need him.
So how do you expect the Dodgers to use Ohtani in the second half of the season from a pitching perspective? Because at this point, he's not going to win the Cy Young Award. And you want him to be tuned up for the postseason. Are they going to do something like they did last year where it's like once a week, 5 innings, like that kind of thing?
It's a great question. And I think that's something that the Dodgers, Andrew Friedman, Dave Roberts, Mark Plyer are going to have to figure out with Ohtani. And, we know how much Shohei wants to be on the mound, how much he loves being a pitcher. And there is, of course, a lot of desire to win the National League Cy Young. And you can make the argument for multiple reasons that he's not the favorite to do so. Christopher Sanchez in Philadelphia having a great season. Everyone's talking about Jacob Mizorowski in Milwaukee. And Ohtani's right now, while there's no true innings total to qualify for the Cy Young, voters take in an overall amount of innings at the end of the season when they're voting for Cy Young. And right now he doesn't seem close to having that, especially compared to the other two. What matters the most for the Los Angeles Dodgers is making sure that their rotation is healthy come October. There are already 2 big question marks in Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, of course. They can't afford to have another one with Shohei. So that, I think, is the bigger, obviously, if you're just a baseball fan, you want to see Ohtani in the Midsummer Classic. But the bigger picture for the Dodgers is, well, it's disappointing he's not going to play in the All-Star game. It's how can they make sure he can play and pitch and use him effectively throughout the second half. We know how important that 6-man rotation has been for this team. It's essentially the only way that they've been able to keep Ohtani pitching consistently as a starter. Maybe they look to do what they talked about earlier in the season, where they're building up more spot starts in between. They can manipulate the schedule to give Ohtani 7-8 days rest while keeping other guys on the 6th day. These are all things under consideration, but we won't know more until we see how he recovers from the draining and the possible injection.
Katie Woo from The Athletic is joining us, and that roar you may have heard when Katie was speaking came from SoFi Stadium.
Yes.
Spain has scored in the 87th minute.
Oh.
And I think I heard the roar from here.
Yeah.
They're going to try and hang on to win this game. They're up 2-1 over Belgium with depending on extra time, probably about 6-7 minutes to go.
Yep.
Katie, we were, and this is a big part of your life. Everybody keeps saying the Dodgers should trade for Tarek Skubal. The Dodgers should trade for Tarek Skubal. And I think if they do, if I'm Detroit, the first guy I ask for is Dalton Rushing. I personally, Katie, would not be comfortable trading Dalton Rushing when I don't know what's going on with Will Smith. What do you think of my theory? Are you more comfortable that Will Smith is going to come back and be Will Smith than I am?
I actually, on my list of Dodger concerns right now, Will Smith is not up on that high priority because I think when he comes back, he will be fine. And with the neck, it's always important. You don't want to rush back. You don't want to risk further injury. And Dalton Rushing has done more than a serviceable job if we're looking just at his numbers behind the plate. We can talk about the on-field antics, but those are getting better. I'm a Dalton Rushing truther. But in terms of in terms of just production overall, what the Dodgers are getting from Dalton Rushing, whatever combo you want to use from their backup catcher, whether it's Chucky Robinson or Eliezer Alfonso, it ranks above league average. So if the Dodgers are even, and this is a whole other argument that we can get into, are even considering trading for Tarik Skubal, I don't see Dalton Rushing in that package.
Really?
I actually think the Dodgers, I really think the Dodgers like where Dalton Rushing is right now. For the Dodgers to really be in on Skubal, something dire has to happen to any of the four starting pitchers that they'd want in the playoff rotation. So Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell. And when you look at what the Dodgers look like from a depth perception at catcher, they don't really have any viable options besides Dalton Rushing that could be ready if something happened again to Will Smith. So I'm with you. I don't see Dalton Rushing going anywhere, even for Skubal. Now, as we can see, things can change before August 3rd. But right now, I think the Dodgers are pretty comfortable with where Rushing's at.
So I'm a pretty greedy Dodger fan. And when I look at Tarik Skubal and I look at the Vegas odds, the favorite to get Tarik Skubal is Milwaukee, which would give them Skubal and Mizorowski as 1,
and
2.
Maybe Woodruff if he
and
gets
maybe
healthy.
Woodruff and maybe Kyle Harrison. Should the Dodgers try to play keep away? Should they get Skubal to make sure he doesn't go to Milwaukee?
I love this argument because it's not something the Dodgers have really ever done, but you can make it, especially when you list out those names from Milwaukee, you can understand the argument. Now, Andrew Friedman, we know this, at the deadline prefers to be a seller. And that's not something that you hear when you're thinking about a full-on contender, but that is the luxury of the Los Angeles Dodgers being so good that they feel like they can move assets to improve the future while not risking anything for their current success. This, again, all plays on the health of their projected starting rotation. But when you list those names from the Milwaukee Brewers, I mean, I was just talking to someone in the NL Central who said the one team that they really think can give the Dodgers a run for the money in the playoffs is Milwaukee based on their arms alone. That Brewers rotation is already nasty. And if they go out and land Skubal, then I think you're rethinking everything if you're the Dodgers. However, you list those names, and I make the argument that any combination of a healthy Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell will rival that. The question is, can they stay healthy? So I like this argument because while it's not how the Dodgers have really operated at all under Andrew Friedman, it's compelling enough to say, hey, if you might not have a spot for Skubal, but maybe the best thing you can do to better your team is make sure another team doesn't get better at the deadline.
All right, Katie, last thing from me, and it's a personal question to you.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Your grind is worse than mine. I have an 82 game grind when I do my NBA stuff. I've got 6 preseason games. I do about 100 games. You do, with spring training and regular season and playoffs, you do close to 200. Do you get the All-Star break off? Do you have to go to Philadelphia? Do you want to go? How do you look at the All-Star break in trying to compartmentalize your life?
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. No, I normally get the All-Star break off, but I wanted to go this year. It's my first year with the Dodgers, obviously. A lot of stars going, Dave Roberts and his staff. And since we open up with a slog of 10 games on the East Coast, I figured might as well just go early.
Smart.
So usually I will get the All-Star break off. I usually go into what I call total hibernation, and I don't speak for 3 days. But this year I decided to make an exception. I've never done the All-Star game. I'm actually pretty excited about it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, mostly because, guys, the cheesesteak number that I'm about to put down is going to be absurd. I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, so
nice.
Katie, you'll learn about this when you go. The big corner it's on the corner of Passyunk, which is a street in Philly. There's a place called Pat's and a place called Gino's. I'm a Gino's guy. Pat's is the old school, sloppy, messy place.
That would be where his place.
That would be where Mason would end up.
Yeah, me, I'm Pat's.
I'm at Gino's because it's clean, it's more modern. But
I just want a load of cheese whiz on my.
Yeah, get ready. You got to make a Pat's Gino's choice, but you got a little time here.
Hey, okay, I'll do that.
Last thing for you are they going to find a way? Too late.
I really hope so, and this is not me being a Dodger homer. This is me just saying, like, look at the numbers. Justin Wroblewski deserves to be an all-star, and I worry sometimes that the Dodgers suffer from Dodger fatigue. in league events where, they were already going to have 5 All-Stars. Could they really have 6? You'd make the argument that if you're the best team in baseball, you should probably have a larger number of All-Stars.
Sure.
There has not been an official announcement over Yoshinobu Yamamoto's availability in the All-Star game. He's pitching Saturday, of course, which makes it unlikely, in my opinion, that he pitches Tuesday. But until there's an official announcement regarding him and a couple other guys that are scheduled to start today and tomorrow, it leaves the door open for Wroblewski, and he really deserves it. You've seen people clamoring all over for him and Zach Wheeler in Philadelphia. Those are 2 guys that I think really should be there. So while everyone would like to see Shohei in the All-Star game and Yama in the All-Star game, I would really like to see Justin Wroblewski get a nod because he deserves it. He's pitched really well. I can't imagine this Dodgers staff without his breakout season.
All right, awesome. Hey, Katie, great stuff. Have a great All-Star break, and we appreciate you coming on.
You got it, guys. Thanks for working with me in this crazy day.